I started as an individual artist who was doing individual work, and then started realizing what's the even meaning of doing this. And it's kind of fun to drawing and making art, but if that's fun and interesting for me, it should be interesting and fun for everyone, not only for the particular artists who has educated in the university or has time and resources to doing that. So community art is very important in that aspect, to giving back the art to the community. Yeah, to the people who haven't really thought about themselves as artists or haven't really done so much artwork. I think it's very important to giving back. Really, cultural diversity in Australia, I think everyone is differently culturally diverse in a way. Like basically, like not. I mean, there are stereotype of people called Australian, but like when we thinking about the history and everything, everyone came from everywhere, and everyone is so different. So I think that's a kind of a real diversity that we are going to approach. So I'm a basically community artist who uses printmaking as main materials, and I work usually for various communities, but mainly immigrated people or people seeking asylum or refugee communities. 5 years ago, I arrived to Melbourne, and I started organizing some free workshops and volunteering workshops for random communities. And then since then I started finding like I wanted to do much bigger project than small workshops. And started approaching some public areas such as libraries or councils or some other organizations to creating more bigger project. So for instance, like a recent project, Asylum Silk Road, is held in 5 different organizations, and then each organizations had a very different characters. Like one organization might have lots of artists, so it's easier for approaching, and then people just create things without even thinking, but I mean very naturally. But then the other organization might be just probably like the people who haven't done artwork so much or has been more how you say senior groups of a member of a community, so they have a bit kind of difficulty to at first time to try to approach it to the artwork, like art workshop itself. So and some other groups might have a bit of trauma or and the kind of tricky like difficulty and also kind of a good thing is language barrier between me and them as well, because I'm not exactly first language English speaker. So in some ways they can't understand me sometimes, or I can't understand them, but in another hand they have a feeling a bit more comfortable with me because I shows my how you say vulnerability of languages, and then people actually opens their mind a bit easily. For me, like fortunately, I found a little bit of easy path at this stage because I end up became with some mentor person in like a Australian art sector, and then she's going to help me for 1 year.
Great.
Yeah, and then like giving me some directions, like meeting once in months or whatever, and then probably helping a little bit of project, but also helping in the bigger picture as artist. And I think that sort of resources are very important for newly arrived communities. They really don't have much good connections, and I notice a lot because whenever I go to like free workshops or like workshops for community or whatever, it's really like most of them are like migrated people or people from different countries, because they really wanted to grab the chance of community and connection, like to doing something. So I think that sort of a person who can be mentor or program, it can be like cultural development program or something that can connect artists and
Yeah.
creators. Yes, I think first of all, because in South Korea I was studying in art university,
Yeah.
and I had a good range of connection and like people who works in that area, so I can be actually in part of that like art project or like arranging project a bit easier. But then because moving to Australia was challenging for me to firstly finding where to start probably, like because I didn't have any connection with any art sectors. So that was the first challenge, and then second challenge will be probably language barrier, and fortunately, I got a lot of friends who helped me to write application or like writing even emails, like helping me out some editing stuff. I think language barrier is a very big deal for many people. And then thirdly, like processing the community art is, whether that's Korea or Australia, it's always challenging because it's a good challenge as well. Like it depends on the community. It's very different.
Yeah.
I can't make one answer for all the communities. Probably finance is another one. I think that unfortunately, like
Yeah.
we don't want to worry about finance, but I think for the artists in general, but also especially migrated artists, it might be very burden for them to doing any creative activities because of the financial problem, and because they are very busy for working and usually it's a bit hard to make time to creating any
It's really hard. No, finances is a massive issue. And paying artists and paying arts workers is particularly from diverse backgrounds. Like they're not in a position to do internships for free or to work for free.